Was an amazing day. I was honored among the all illustrious veterans, ex-servicemen who have worked for the country while they were in service, and they continue to serve the country, the people of this country, even after the retirement. The organizer, the convener, Dr. Imad, a very thoughtful person. He had invited, since it's in Bundelkhand, there are far too many principalities and small states. The kings, the queens, the princess, the politicians, and far too many people of all ages. And they were all honored. I happened to be one of them. I took my mother with me. I went sitting in the first seat, she looking at this grand dais. And when it was announced that she is my mother, almost everyone, the most senior-most person who was also being honored, aged 81 plus, he gets down from the dais and touches my mother's feet. I was mesmerized by the humility shown by this elderly person, an outstanding person, standing fitness, standing straight like a bamboo, and so fit, emanating magnificence all over from his body. A halo he had. So now my mother, as she stood simply looking at me and saying, Zahid, you see that just being with such humble, illustrious people doesn't make you feel insignificant. I said, yes, surely, and very much. I am humbled. She continued telling me that, remember, only grateful can be included in such a beautiful congregation, or to make this world good. There was an amusement in her tone, and I saw she was laughing gently at my fizzy notion of humility, what it is and what it is done for me. I realized that it is not the job of humility to make us feel small, but to expand our capacity for appreciation, awe, delight, to stand silent before all that we do, all that we do not know, and that to get on with the work of finding out. My friend, today I was impressed from this, and I'm going to talk about humility, a balanced wheel of life. Without humility, you are bound to fall and saying there is no balance in your life. My friend, humility so often seems vaguely desirable, but not really attractive. It might get ones into heaven, but it won't promise a raise of pay. It sounds somewhat spineless, incompatible with intellect and a vigorous spirit. I have to learn that reverse is true, my friend. You just see the figures we commonly hail for their humility. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Jesus Christ, Lord Rama, Socrates, Mahatma Gandhi, Abraham Lincoln, Einstein. Far too many people I go on taking names. And so many were never timorous soul, but men of strong destiny with a fierce determination to carry it out. My friend, humility is not self-disparaging. It is not this self-disparagement. It is tough. It is free. It is confident characteristic. It does not separate a personality But I think actually it favors the personality. A man does not know nothing. He hasn't learned. We all start from the same degree of nakedness and ignorance. My friend, genius depends on the data within its reach, the information that comes from what others do and have done. Nowhere is humility more overrated than in what has been called uh, tender consideration of ignorance. My friend, humility it doesn't say that it's a decent thing uh, to be done. It does the decent things by its instinct and without any fuss. It's a natural response. Humility should be the natural response to anything alive. At the same time, humility is more sophisticated than it may seem. I have I was reading somewhere कि a great surgeon, generally in hospitals, the senior surgeon takes the junior ones to train while they are operating on something, and they watch. In one such incident, Eric Segal's doctors, I read that he writes that one senior junior surgeon, he by mistakenly spoils an operation, and he leaves the table and gets down outside, and he sits holding his head and shouting, "I have ruined my career." And his senior followed him. He said, "What happened?" He says, "Sir, I have let you down. I might as well quit this profession." The doctor, he grew icy. He just says, "Shut up. Just who do you think you are? That you should not make or commit mistakes?" He demanded. He said, I made them. We all make them. Only God does not err. My young friend, and you are not God. You will go back to the table. You will carry on the operation. We all are there. And he goes back and he did it. He corrected his mistake. My friend, to admit a mistake is one thing, but to assume a position about the possibility, even the necessity of erring, is to set oneself on a pedestal. I was a chief guest in some function in a school where a young scout delivered a brief speech. He stumbled badly. Quickly, however, he said into the microphone, "Oops." Then he went on from there. That it's the difference between humility and groveling. It is going on from there, and that marks the genius article, not the permanent wearing of the sackcloth. Simply, I said, my friend, the lesson I learned from this yesterday's incident, or what my mother told me, that humility is necessary and useful for the same reason that a lead keel is useful on a racing sloop. It keeps us from tripping over. The faster the sailboat, they say, the more essential is finely balanced keel. The mechanic or the housewife may not be in as much danger of capsizing as the prime minister of the opera star. But each needs humility in proportion to his to his speed. It takes I said equanimity to view another's good and not to be served off course either by envy or by admiration. The neighborhood child who is plainly superior to one's own child. The man who is elected president or in some post when you were in the line for it. Your friends, your teammates who keep walloping Homer over the friends when you are in the slump. My friend, life is filled with such people, and it takes genuine humility to keep them in perspective. Neither too high nor too low. Humility, my friend, is nothing but poise. We should not expect total humility from ourselves or from others, anyone. Then we expect total wisdom. To be truly humble takes a working knowledge who and what one is, and this requires experience, my friend, and which in turn requires time. The art of being humble, it cannot be learned or mastered in a week or two. My friend, humility is the balance wheel of life. The greatest lesson I learned from yesterday's event when Dr. Imad's society honored the veterans and outstanding people. Thank you very much.